In this report, I share my retirement visa trick for Malaysia. I know that some of you already know about this trick. I've been talking about it in my YouTube comments for several months, but it's time to formally share my retirement visa trick in Malaysia. I'm going to show you my favorite pictures of Malaysia while I describe my retirement visa trick. Then I'll explain the top 6 reasons why you should retire cheap in Malaysia, but there's no need to take notes. I'll give you a link to all of this in writing at the end. I'm going to give you the bad news before I tell you why my trick fixes everything. So don't leave until you hear the good news. It will be fast, I promise. Okay, the bad news first. In October of 2021, Malaysia set new retirement visa rules that seemed ridiculous to the average retirees on a pension. Number one, they increased the offshore income or pension requirement from $2,500 US per month to $10,000 per month. Number two, they increased the fixed amount you must deposit into a Malaysian bank from $37,500 to $250,000 US. They increased the proof of liquid assets from $125,000 US to $375,000 US. And 4, they reduced renewable retirement visa from 10 years to 5 years, meaning you have to prove it all over again every 5 years. Said simply, Malaysia was no longer seemed to be interested in competing globally with the other Southeast Asian countries at attracting global retirees. As I said previously, the changes seemed ridiculous to me. Surely if the officials involved in setting these new requirements had surveyed its population of retired foreigners, it would most likely have shown that an overwhelming majority of them would be unable or unwilling to comply and would instead be leaving Malaysia. Luckily, the Sarawak region of Malaysia in Borneo came to the rescue. Sarawak, Malaysia still has a retirement visa that is more welcoming to foreign retirees. Here is the good news. My retirement visa trick for Malaysia. The state of Sarawak, Malaysia on the island of Borneo in eastern Malaysia has retained its retirement visa rules, which remain similar to those of the Western Malaysian mainland before the October 2021 change went into effect, but are even cheaper. Additionally, according to reports, the government of Sarawak has affirmed its intention to continue to issue retirement visas under its existing rules. Additionally, since Sarawak only requires you to spend only 15 days of each year in Sarawak, you can live anywhere in the world the rest of the year, including Western Malaysia. So it appears that Western Malaysia has shot itself in the foot, and all foreign incomes will be placed in Sarawak's banks instead of banks of Eastern Malaysia. Consequently, Sarawak is rumored to have been flooded with applications from foreign retirees that are renewing their Malaysian retirement visa or applying for new retirement visa in Sarawak, so they do not have to comply with the new Western Malaysia rules. Okay, Sarawak retirement visa requirements. At the link in the notes below this YouTube video, I will give you a web page that has several sources that explain these Sarawak visas in more detail. They also include agents that can help you apply for your retirement visa. But here is a summary of the main requirements for the Malaysian Sarawak retirement visa. Okay, age. Applicants must be 50 years old, but there's no age requirement for their spouse if they have one. Ages 30 to 50 are also eligible under certain conditions if they're seeking an education for their children under 18 or are seeking some kind of medical treatment. That's the age requirements. For financial requirements for Sarawak, you must satisfy either make a fixed deposit in a Sarawak bank of around $37,500 US for a single person or $75,000 for a couple, or provide proof of government pension of $1,750 US per month for a single or $2,500 US for a couple for age 50 and above. For ages 30 to 50, prove offshore monthly income of the same amounts, $1,750 US for a single or $2,500 for a couple. I'm quoting this in US because it's a more internationally understood currency. The actual numbers are in ringgit. Okay, minimum stay. Applicants must stay 15 or more days per year in Sarawak, Malaysia. I provided 3 sources. These are not affiliate links. I will not make money if you click them, but they will confirm my reading. Main ideas or main takeaways then. If my reading of these sources are accurate and the laws remain the same for the foreseeable future, here are the main ideas that seem to come out of these below sources. 1, a single person can retire anywhere in the country of Malaysia so long as you have a pension of 1,750 US equivalent per month, or 37,500 to put in a Sarawak bank. A couple can retire anywhere in Malaysia so long as they have a pension of 2,500 per month, or 75,000 to put in a Sarawak bank. If you do that and comply with the paperwork requirements of Sarawak, you'll have a 5-year multiple entry visa in Malaysia. Number 2, if the law does not change, in the meantime, you'll be able to renew your multiple entry visa into Malaysia for additional 5-year extensions, one after another, so long as you can show the same financial requirements and you can show that you spent at least 15 days per year in Sarawak, Malaysia. You might be wondering why I know all this. I left the United States in 2007. I've lived in or visited 67 countries since leaving the US 15 years ago. Make sure to grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 15 Years, if you'd like to learn how to retire cheap in paradise, or how my hobby pays for all of this travel. Okay, top 6 reasons to retire in Malaysia. Now that you know how easy it is to get a retirement visa in Malaysia, let me tell you why Malaysia is always in my top 5 countries to retire early for cheap in the world. But after I give you the top 5 reasons Malaysia is one of the best, I'll explain 2 things that will annoy you about living in Malaysia. Okay, I'll cover these in reverse order. Infrastructure. Wandering around cities like Kuala Lumpur, you'll be amazed at the high level of infrastructure in Malaysia as compared to almost all of Southeast Asia. The roads, the airports, street lights, public transportation, hospitals, malls, sidewalks, and greenery along roads and parks are all in very good condition as compared to much of Southeast Asia. There are exceptions, of course. Really, only Singapore has better infrastructure. Okay, number 5, healthcare. In my opinion, if I needed to go to the hospital for a serious medical condition while I was in Southeast Asia, I'd want to be in either Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur. I'm sure Singapore would be just as good, but I suspect the additional costs would greatly exceed any additional medical benefits. But luckily, I've never needed any serious medical care anywhere in the world. Okay, number 4, travel base or hub. Malaysia is one of the best countries in the world to have as your base if you plan on seeing the world. The flights leaving Malaysia are frequent and seem to be reasonably priced as compared to other great travel hubs around the world. Okay, number 3, food. All of the foods of the world are in Malaysia, especially in Kuala Lumpur. I am a big fan of Asian food, and KL ranks up there with Bangkok and Hong Kong in terms of having a great selection of excellent foods from around Asia. KL also has a fairly good assortment of Western foods. One of the great pastimes in Malaysia is finding your favorite Mama's restaurant. Mama's are small family-owned restaurants where you may experience the best food of your life for just $2 to $4 US. Okay, safety, number 2. In my opinion, after living all over the world for the last 15 years, Malaysia is one of the safest countries in the world to call home. I have walked all over cities, large and small, in Malaysia, day and night, and never had even a hint of fear. Okay, coming in at number 1 of the 6 reasons to retire cheap in Malaysia, cost of living. Malaysia has an amazingly low cost of living. I've created retire cheap reports for Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, and Georgetown, Penang. I'll be publishing a retire cheap report on Langkawi in the next few weeks. Not only is Malaysia one of the best retire cheap in paradise countries for all of these stated reasons, but it also affords a higher overall quality of life for the same money as other countries in this same cheap price range. Okay, I promise to conclude with 2 things that will annoy you about Malaysia, but first, each of my videos has an associated web page that includes all the notes, links, and maps that I promised in that video. You can access that web page for this video via the top link in the notes below this video. At that web page, I've also embedded a video of my top 15 places in the entire world to retire cheap overseas in 2022. So you can see What other countries are best to retire cheap? Okay, 2 things that will annoy you about Malaysia. Number 1, the high alcohol taxes. If you drink alcohol, alcohol costs more in Malaysia than many other parts of Southeast Asia. That is because it is heavily taxed by the government. All the best booze of the world is in Malaysia. You just have to pay more. Traffic. The medium-sized to large cities in Malaysia have a traffic problem at rush hour. Since you will be retiring here, I suggest you arrange your day so that you're not in traffic during rush hour. Okay, thanks for considering my retirement visa trick for Malaysia and my top 6 reasons why you should retire there. This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, the YouTube channel for vagabondbuddha.com. The world is your home. What time will you be home for dinner? Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of Retire Cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.